Welcome to episode 137 of the Business Development Podcast. You know, every minute you waste is stealing from your future. A calendar and effective time management can and will change your life. Stick with us. This is one of the most important episodes I have ever done.
The great Mark Cuban once said, "Business happens over years and years. Value is measured in the total upside of a business relationship, not by how much you squeezed out in any one deal." And we couldn't agree more. This is the Business Development Podcast, based in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and broadcasting to the world. You'll get expert business development advice, tips and experiences, and you'll hear interviews with business owners, CEOs, and business development reps. You'll get actionable advice on how to grow business. Brought to you by Capital Business Development, capitalbd.ca. Let's do it. Welcome to the Business Development Podcast. And now your expert host, Kelly Kennedy.
Hello, welcome to episode 137 of the Business Development Podcast. 137 episodes. My gosh, it is hard to believe. I still find it incredibly hard to believe that we've come this far in such a short period of time. We're just about approaching 16 months on the Business Development Podcast. We just rolled over 162,000 downloads. We're growing all the time on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Speaking of, we do have Instagram now. So if you guys want to hop on over to Instagram, we have Reels going up there regularly. We will be releasing Reels both ahead and on show launch days. So you're going to have lots and lots of video content to interact with. So if you are listening to this, you're an Instagram user, that's your world. We love you. Come say hi, come follow us on the Business Development Podcast. We look forward to having conversations with you there. As always, you can find us on LinkedIn. That's our world. We were born there, that we were grown there. That is our world. So LinkedIn is still the prime social we use, but we are branching out. We do have a YouTube, we do have an Instagram, and you can find us pretty well wherever you guys are hanging out these days. So we look forward to having more conversations with you. Please don't forget to give us both a like and a follow on any of our social pages. And feel free to like and follow me, Kelly Kennedy, on LinkedIn. I always like to connect with people, so don't be afraid to reach out and say hi. I love having a conversation. I love knowing about the impact that we're having on the world here with the Business Development Podcast, and we could not do it without you. Speaking of not being able to do it without you, community questions, guys. If you guys have a question, entrepreneurship, business development, send it on over. Send it on over to me. You can send it on over to me via LinkedIn message, or feel free to email me, podcast@capitalbd.ca. That's podcast@capitalbd.ca. And that's just a great place to get you. And I'll make sure that we get you on an upcoming community questions episode. Let me know in the email if you would like to stay anonymous or if you would like your name revealed. I do keep it first name basis only unless you say it's not a big deal to you, because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. There are no stupid questions, but I know when we're executives, sometimes we don't like having our names dropped. So I will not tag you. I will not name drop you unless you give me permission to do so. So don't worry about it. It will be somewhat anonymous, and I love getting your community questions. I love having that conversation with you. So looking forward to more community questions. Send them on over. And last thing, guys, if you want to continue to help this show, there are many, many free ways to do it. Obviously, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you guys listen. We appreciate them immensely. Helps us to reach new audiences. You can tell a friend or family member or coworker about the show. We appreciate that immensely, and that is how shows really grow, is by word of mouth, guys. So feel free to let your friends and family members know about us. Maybe let them know your favorite episode and send them on their way. But we appreciate all the help we can get, and we wouldn't be growing at the rate we have been growing without your support. And so we appreciate you guys immensely. All right, let us get into the topic for today. And you guys probably already know what it is from the last episode, if you heard the last episode. We are focusing today on the power of effectively using your calendars. Last week, I told you that calendar management will change your life. In 2024 and beyond, time is more valuable than anything else that you have. Managing time is a superpower, and a calendar is your key to success. Guys, I'm not even kidding. It is so flippin' critical. And I am the first to say, I'm not, you guys know this, I'm not afraid to say that I sucked at something. I sucked at managing my time. I sucked at it. I had 1,000 things that I would want to get done, and there's always new things coming into my plate. And getting the things done that are critical sometimes just never got done. And, I'm the first to say that that was me. I struggled with managing my time and doing my top 5 things to do today. And you guys know, if you follow this show, I talk about putting your top 5, top 10 things to do today every day on a piece of paper. But if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're a high-level manager, you have a lot of things coming by your desk every day. There's something else other than those top 5 things every single day, a new fire that will come by your desk. And if you're not effectively managing your time, it is going to get much, much harder to really move the needle, because the things that are going to move the needle for you are always your top 5 things that you should be doing that day. Everything else is just noise. Yeah, it can be very critical noise. It could have something to do with a project you got going on. It could be negativity or whatever. But most of the time, that is stuff that can be dealt with after. What you really need to be doing is making sure you are getting done the things that you need to be getting done. And I get it. This is challenging. This is really, really challenging for a lot of people. And, me included, but I am getting better at it. And one of the tools, probably one of the most effective tools that I have begun using, and I mean diligently, is effective time management, utilizing a calendar to make time for the things that matter. It will 150% change your life. Mark my words, learning how to use a calendar to manage your time and truly following it, not just smoke and mirrors, not just putting it in your calendar and letting that time pass you by, but actually putting that time in your calendar will actually buy you time. It is counterintuitive. You would think that if you schedule your calendar full of stuff, that you're going to have less time. The irony is you actually end up having more time, because the amount of time that you waste dealing with stuff that doesn't matter is absolutely astronomical. It is astronomical, the amount of time that we are wasting during our days. And as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as high-level executives, we don't have time to waste. Most of us are trying to use every sliver of time that we possibly have to do the things that we need to do to move the needle. And yet, how many of you are still having trouble keeping up with your obligations? How many of you are still having trouble to do the things that you know will move the needle? My hand's up. And I know your hand's up too, because the reality is we're all struggling with time management. Yet we have this amazing, amazing tool right in front of us on a daily basis, our friggin' calendars. And anybody you talk to who's really great at time management will tell you that they live by their calendar. And I am telling you, I now live by my calendar. I schedule everything that I need to do with the appropriate amount of time that I think it's going to take to do it gets put into my calendar. And you know what? I'm more productive now than I have ever been. Period. I run my company. I run this podcast. I run clients, and I do it all. And it blows my mind sometimes how much I have to do, but still get it done. And I owe it all to getting really, really great with my calendar. And am I as great as I could be? Absolutely not. Do I still struggle? Absolutely. All the time. But I am making massive, massive strides towards being more effective, being more efficient, and valuing my time more. That's really what it comes down to, guys. How much do you value your time? How important is your life to you? Because that's really what you're trading. Think about it. Every minute that you have to spend doing extra work, dealing with extra crap, is a minute that you don't get to spend with your family, a minute that you don't get to spend moving the needle for you personally, for making your life better, a minute that you don't get to enjoy something you love to do. Think about it. You're stealing from yourself. And the moment that you realize that you're actually stealing from yourself by not managing your time, I think that can be enough to move that needle for you. I think that can be enough to reframe the idea of why you need to be living by a calendar, why you should schedule every friggin' minute, because every minute you don't schedule and that you're dealing with crap that's coming across your table is a minute you're stealing from your future self. It's a minute that you're stealing from something that you could find joy in, your family, your hobbies, your passions, your business. But for you are stealing from yourself by not managing your time effectively. Think about that. Think about that. And from this point forward, we are going to manage your time. We are going to manage your time in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming, that's not really that hard. It's not hard. What it is it's a new habit. And as you guys know, new habits are hard to make, right? I struggle with new habits. You struggle with new habits. There's plenty of things that I could be doing better at with my health, with my family, with my business. But it takes an active choice. It takes an active decision and then repeated decision over time to make it a habit. You know, I'm going to work on me to try to do better, in my life, to try to be more effective with my time, to be more caring about myself, to be more caring to my family and the things that really matter in life, the things that really move the needle on who you are. But it really comes down to you have to manage your time effectively to do everything else. You have to get good at managing your time to respect the other things in your life that really matter. And I think what you're going to find is as you start to go down this path of time management and how you can be more effective and how you can use your calendar more, you're going to start scheduling things that make you feel better. You're going to start scheduling your free time. You're going to start scheduling gym time. You're going to start scheduling time to just reflect and be mindful of how you feel and who you are. And you're going to do it. That's the thing. You're actually going to do it because it's in your calendar and you're going to learn to live by your calendar. And if you can learn to live by your calendar, your life will change. Your life will change for the better. You will get more productive. You will value your time and other people's time more. You will expect more from people. You will expect more from your employees because you will teach them time management skills. You will help them become better, okay? Time management has a ripple effect. Time management is not just for the managers, the executives, the business owners who are really looking to take control of their life. It is going to help all the people around you if you can get good at this because it's a teachable skill. It's a skill we can all learn. And being better at valuing our time is only more beneficial for every single person around us. So remember that. It's about valuing you. It's about caring about yourself. It's about caring about the one thing that you can sell that you can never get back. And it's your time, guys. It's your time. Time is money, but it's also everything. It's everything you have. And the better that we can get at dealing with our time, the better we can get with time management, the better we are going to be across the board, okay? So, what calendar should you use? That's a pretty logical question, right? Okay, I'm going to manage my time. What calendar should I use? Honestly, guys, any calendar, literally anything. Although I would say a digital calendar that has reminders, probably the best option for you. Obviously, if you have a business, you probably have a Gmail or an Outlook account. Those calendars are amazing. I use Gmail personally. I link it to kind of everything that I have. I have it on my phone. I have it on my computer. It's wherever I want it all the time, right? But honestly, guys, if you are not utilizing a calendar at all at the moment, any calendar is better than none. However, I would highly recommend a digital calendar that's blocked out by all the hours of the day. And that way we can schedule our time for all of the tasks that we need to do. But don't be afraid to use any calendar. If you are not using a calendar, just pick one and stick with it. Whatever calendar you can stick with that integrates with your email, that integrates with your daily life is going to be effective, okay? All right. Make sure that both personal and work events are in your calendar. So once we start scheduling time, guys, I want you to schedule all time. I want you to schedule your free time, the time you're not going to be working. Heck, if you really want to be super, super on top of it, put what you're going to do in those times and the time brackets that you allocate for that time. But definitely anything that you need to do on the work front, has to be scheduled, okay? Any kind of meetings, any of your top 5 or top 10 things today, plus whatever time you think it's going to take to allocate to that, right? The important thing is not, I get it, not always are you going to have the right allocations. That's fine. That's fine. What's important is that you start when you say you're going to start and you find a way to balance it out, right? But by blocking that time out, you're literally going to get a reminder that says right now you need to be making your calls. Right now you need to be doing your digital introductions. Right now you should be entering your CRM. Right now you have a meeting with John, Jack, or Jill, right? You're going to know what's going on because it's all in your calendar and you're going to have times allocated to do that. And it is going to make you super, super effective. And I know there's lots of you saying, well, Kelly, I already use my calendar. Yes, you use your calendar, but do you live by it? Do you live by it? Do you check it? Do you make sure that all of your time to do your business development tasks are in there? Do you make sure that all your meetings are in there? Do you make sure that, heck, maybe the things that aren't going to move the needle but are still important is your LinkedIn time in there? Is your digital introduction time in there? Is your time to book new guests if you have a podcast in there? Make sure it's all in there. And heck, if you're going fishing with your family at night, why not? Why not just schedule it in? And no, at 5:30 I'm leaving and we're going fishing with the family. We'll be doing that till 8. Right? There's something about knowing what you have to do that just makes it happen. And so much of the reasons why you are not actually completing your top 5 things to do today is simply because you are not scheduling the time to do so. You start scheduling your time, it will change everything. It will change your effectiveness, your efficiency. My gosh, you are going to become a productive superhero. That is what is going to happen. And you know what? Feel free, implement this stuff. And if that doesn't happen to you, you don't become a productive superhero. You're not the super rock star I already know you are. And you're like, Kelly, this didn't work for me. Friggin' email me. Email me. I want to know. But you know what? When it absolutely works for you, when you are killing it, when you get that promotion, when you start that new company, when you win that big deal because you scheduled the time, you made the time to do the thing, I also want to hear about it. I also want to hear about how this time productivity has totally changed your life, made you more effective, improved everything for you, because it will. It will. I would bet 99% of you will have incredible, incredible results when you start scheduling your time. And like I said, I am not a pro at this. I am not a pro. I am, in the grand scheme of scheduling time, I am incredibly new. But I can tell you that I get more done when I schedule my time. I get more done if it's in my calendar. I do the things that move the needle when it's in my calendar. And I think you will too. Remember, don't necessarily complete things that come across your desk, okay? I talked about this earlier. There are going to be lots and lots of things. You're an entrepreneur. You're a C-suite executive. You are moving the needle. You're in business development. Whatever you do, you are busy. You got lots of stuff. You probably have a team of people around you. You probably have 5 to 10 projects on the go. You're probably in, let's call it 4 to 5 client meetings all the time. I get it. You're busy. There's lots of things that come by your desk. But here's what I want you to do the next time that something comes by your desk. I want you to ask yourself, is dealing with this going to move the needle for the thing I really need to accomplish? Does this have to be done right now? Because guess what? Most of the time, the answer is no. Most of the time, it does not need to be done right now. And what I suggest that you do in this case, you already have your top 5, top 10 things to do today written out on your notepad, because we talk about notepads. You all need one, right? It's on your notepad. But just add the thing to the list and schedule a time at a later date to deal with it, and deal with it at that time. And don't get distracted from the things that are actually going to move the needle for you. And I think you'll find that if you start to do this, those things that you thought were super critical, that were coming across your desk, that seemed to be an emergency, they're not really that big of an emergency. They weren't enough to take everything away from the top 5 or top 10 things you needed to do that day, okay? If we can do this and start scheduling these things in, you are still going to get to them, but you're going to get to them at a time that is appropriate to do so. And it is not necessarily in the moment. It is not necessarily when it comes by your desk, no matter how crazy it is, right? 99% of the time, you could schedule that and deal with it at an appropriate time and still keep to the things that are really going to move the needle for you today, okay? All right. So we want to schedule all meetings and we want to send invites immediately. I know there's lots of you who book a meeting and then you send the invites later, okay? I want you to stop doing this. What ends up happening is something will come up for your client or something will come up for you and you will forget about it. I want you all to get in the habit of, if your calendar is what you live by and meetings are what we aim for always, which is the whole goal of business development, right? We're always pushing towards a meeting. We're always pushing towards an opportunity to get two people in a room and build a relationship, right? Prioritize it. If you book a meeting, don't wait a second. I want you to immediately hop onto your calendar. Make sure that you schedule that in. Make sure that you get the right email, that you have all the details, that you give them a way to get a hold of you, that you call and make your reservation at whatever place you're going to meet at. Get all the stuff done right there in the moment, and that way you will not forget, okay? I have unfortunately forgotten to book meetings and look like an idiot, okay? That I've done that. I've had plenty of people book meetings with me, forget to send me a calendar invite, and then last minute reach out and say, oh, I thought we had something scheduled today. And I said, you know what? I'm sorry. I live by my calendar and you didn't send me an invite. That's not really my problem. And I know that that sounds rough and harsh. I know it does. But guys, you have to value your time. And if it isn't in your calendar, it isn't in your calendar. And there's not much that I can do about that. So I always recommend to you, especially with those of you who are meeting with high-end clients, okay? They are busy. They are incredibly busy people. On the show, we're reaching out to, some pretty influential people in the world. And I recognize that their time is incredibly valuable. And if I even get a sliver of that time, I need to be incredibly respectful of it. I need to be respectful of their time, and I need to be prompt with any invites that I send to them and with any dialogue that I say. It all has to be valuable. It all has to make sense. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I want to make sure that we are always providing value, and whether that's to you, our listeners, or to our amazing expert guests when we're reaching out to them and contacting them. Value is always important, and valuing somebody's time is probably the most important. And so one of the best things that you can do as you're scheduling meetings, as you're working with calendars with other people, it's to be prompt, it's to put them first, and it's to ultimately get that booking done in the best way possible and always in a way that is respectful of people's time and energy, right? I always tell you guys, when you're booking actual face-to-face meetings with your clients, you should always try to book that meeting close to them, simply to be respectful of their time because they are taking the time to meet with you, right? Respect for time is absolutely critical, and it's incredibly fitting for our topic today, okay? So I want you guys to treat your calendar as law. That's literally what I'm telling you. Treat your calendar as law. If you don't have a meeting in it and somebody calls and says, oh, sorry, I know we had this meeting today. I forgot to send an invite. Say, look, I'm sorry. I have this time scheduled for something else and you're going to have to rebook for me, and have them actually send you a new invite. And I know that sounds a little harsh, but your time is valuable. And I don't know how to reiterate that more. There's nothing more valuable than your time, period. Your time is incredibly, incredibly valuable. And if you don't value it, nobody else will. If you don't value your time, nobody else will. Think about that. Think about that. Now, I told you guys that a calendar can change your life. And I think we've kind of been back and forth on some reasons why. But if you start scheduling time for the things that matter, you are actually more likely to complete a task that you've set the time aside for. So how many of you, like I said, have these big, ambitious goals? And I know there's a lot of you because you don't listen to the Business Development Podcast if you're not an ambitious person. I know that. I know that for a fact. You do not listen to the show if you are not already a rock star, if you are not already an amazing, ambitious person looking to do better in the world. And God, I love you guys. You are the best listenership ever. I am blessed to have listeners like you on the Business Development Podcast. And don't get me wrong, I completely know. I know what kind of people you are. I know how amazing you guys are. And I appreciate you immensely. I appreciate you immensely. But understand that if we really want to move the needle, if we really want to do better, we really want to improve, nothing is going to happen without dedicating the appropriate amount of time to those things. And if we don't dedicate the appropriate amount of time to growth, to being better, to doing the things that actually move the needle for us and our organizations, nobody will. And it just won't happen because something else is going to come up. Something else better or more fun or that you think is more of a priority in that moment is going to come up. And the thing that's going to move the needle is not going to happen. So we have to schedule things into our calendar, the things that are the most important for us to move the needle, to grow our organizations, to book the meetings we need to do, to improve personally. We need to schedule those things into our calendar in order to actually complete them. It's true. It's true. You are like probably 90%, I don't know the exact statistic, but you're probably like 90% more likely to complete a task if it's in your calendar. You probably are. I'm pretty confident in that. I'm pretty confident in that. And so I really, really think that if you just try this experiment, try this experiment for a week, just 1 week. Give me 1 week of your time. And I want you to schedule everything in your day. For the next 5 days in a row, schedule the things that move the needle, the things that if you did them every day, they would help you grow. They would close more deals. They would introduce you to more people. They would get you in front of more people in great meetings. And start doing those things. Start scheduling them into your calendar. And just watch. Just watch. You'll actually do it. You'll actually move the needle. And you will grow. Mark my words. You will grow. It will change your life, okay? Remember to check your calendar ahead of the day. Make sure that the first thing that you do is always check your calendar. First thing in the morning. Like, I want you guys to do this literally before you grab your coffee. Like, when you get up in the morning, I know right now you're probably grabbing your phone, you're probably checking LinkedIn. I know my listenership. You're grabbing your phone, you're checking LinkedIn, you're checking your email, right? I know what you guys are doing. I want you, before you do those things, to check your calendar. Check your calendar. I can't tell you how many meetings people have missed because they just didn't check their calendar. And you can't afford to be missing meetings. I can't afford to be missing meetings. And I've come damn close. I will honestly say I have even missed meetings, frankly, more recently than I would like to admit because I did not follow this like basic number one rule, which is check your calendar first thing in the morning. If you check your calendar first thing in the morning, you will not miss a meeting again. You won't. If you can make it part of your daily schedule, you won't miss a meeting. I find it so funny because actually one of our amazing listeners of this show, I'm not going to name him. He probably knows who he is though if he's listening to this. He reached out to me, I kid you not, right after our last episode. And he said, Kelly, thank God I listened to this because one of the tips that I gave in the last episode was to check your calendar in the morning. He's like, I wouldn't have checked my calendar in the morning. I was listening to the show in the morning. I checked my calendar. I had a double booking. I would have looked like an idiot and I was able to fix it all thanks to the show. But I'm serious. Like he's not alone. I've done this. Many people I know have done this. If you can get into the habit of checking your calendar because you live by your calendar and that's going to be your day's schedule, you will never miss an important event or meeting again. I don't know what that's worth to you, but I think that's probably worth a fortune. I want you guys all to ask yourself, how much time does something really take? Really, in the grand scheme, right? If we were being efficient with that period of time, because we value our time is money, our time is life, our time is everything, our time is our future too. It's not just our time in this moment, it's the time you have to steal in the future to get the thing done if you don't get it done in this moment. That's the truth. We don't think about that. But anything that you don't get done in the time that you allot for it, you have to steal time from a future time. Well, I don't know about you guys, but if I have to steal time from a future time, I'm probably stealing time from my family. I'm probably stealing time from my own health. I'm probably stealing time from the things that matter to me the most. Well, I can't afford that because I love that time. I value myself. I value the people around me. I value my family. I value my friends. I value the things in life that matter, okay? I want you guys to value your time. I want you guys to understand that your time is spent. Whether you spend it doing productive things or whether you spend it wasting time, it's spent. You never get it back. It's the one thing you can never get back. Think about that. Think about that before you let the next thing that come across your desk steal time from you. Think about it. The next time that you want to grow your company and the things that you need to do to grow the company are right in front of you, think about it. Think about it. Every minute you waste is a minute you can't get back. Trust me. Schedule the things that you need to do. Live by the schedule. Your life will change. Your business will grow. You will have more free time to do the things you truly love in life. And I can't think of anything more valuable than that. Now, if we are measuring our time in this way, I want you to think about the time you waste in meetings. And this is funny. I know. We talk on the show all the time about the criticality of meetings, right? But think about the time that you actually waste in meetings. And I can tell you, if you're meeting somebody for an hour and a half, you're probably wasting 30 minutes at least of that time in non-productive discussion, in discussion that has nothing to do with the reason why you had that meeting. And hold on, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing in certain situations, but if this is like just an introduction meeting where you're seeing if there's an opportunity there for you, I want you guys to start booking half-hour meetings and living by that time, okay? Introduction meetings, for the most part, especially if they're teams, right? I'm not talking in person. If you're in person, completely different rules. But if you're just talking teams, and I know a lot of you are doing video calls, I would like you to schedule your introduction meetings for 30 minutes and live by them. The person you're meeting with is gonna respect you for this, and you are gonna respect you for this, because most of the things that you need to do in an introduction meeting, the interest you need to build, the compatibility, the seeing what's there, it can be done in 30 minutes. And guess what happens if you can book a meeting for 30 minutes? It means that you can book at least 1 to 2 extra meetings that day. Think about in your life, what happens if you book 100% more meetings than you're currently booking? 100% more meetings probably leads to a significant growth in your organization, a significant growth in opportunity. Trust me. Most introduction meetings do not need more than 30 minutes. I want you to try it for a week. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you, but I think it will. And I think when you realize how much time you were wasting, you're going to be surprised, because you're going to start putting hours back in your pocket. You're going to start putting hours back, and you're going to start having meetings that are more productive than ever because you only have 30 minutes to do them. Trust me. This will work. I have implemented this with a lot of the introductions that we started doing, because I was doing so many 1-hour meetings and realizing I don't need an hour for this. Like, we're wasting a ton of time conversating. And yeah, while I love conversation, if we're at work, if we're at business, there's things we need to do. There's things we got to do to move the needle. Trust me, try booking half-an-hour introduction meetings from now on and just watch it change. Watch things change for you. It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. Remember, everybody, time as an entrepreneur is the rarest commodity that you have. Use a calendar and watch your productivity and time thrive. Shout outs this week: Rodney Lover, Colin Harms, Sean Niels, Sean Suley, Mary Saprova, Brian Hayes, Jillian Schetcher, Jesse Shuchuk, Mike Mack, Randy Lennon, Joel McGalnick, Steve Campbell, and Justin Fox. Until next time, this has been episode 137 of the Business Development Podcast, and we will catch you on the flip side.
This has been the Business Development Podcast with Kelly Kennedy. Kelly has 15 years in sales and business development experience within the Alberta oil and gas industry and founded his own business development firm in 2020. His passion and his specialization is in customer relationship generation and business development. The show is brought to you by Capital Business Development, your business development specialists. For more, we invite you to the website at www.capitalbd.ca. See you next time on the Business Development Podcast.
Hey, rock stars, you've heard this show, implemented some of the lessons, and still you want more. How about a one-on-one 3-month personalized coaching program with me, Kelly Kennedy? We'll work together to establish an effective business development program, overcome obstacles, and accomplish your growth goals in 2024. To book your free discovery call today, shoot me an email at podcast@capitalbd.ca or book coaching directly from my LinkedIn profile. Book your discovery call now and take that next step in your journey towards success. Your future starts today.